Hi, and welcome to the SOS support guide. This isn't a guide on any one specific hero, but rather how to support as a general concept. This was written with 4 major supports in mind: Catherine, Adagio, Arden, and Fortress, and will teach you about item builds, proper Iron Guard contract usage, as well as great places to put scout traps. Now, without further ado, let's begin. The builds for support doesn't tend to vary too much between character to character, so this will generally work for any of the 4 heroes mentioned before, and also for most off-meta supports like Glaive and Koshka. Remember that ultimately, you are building to help your team survive, so as long as you keep that in mind, it should work out. Iron Guard Contract, Fountain, and Crucible make up the core of any support's item build. In most situations, the support will want to rush a Fountain, not just for the team-wide heal, but also for the passive regeneration that it will give you. The exception to this rule is if you are against a team that has an important AoE stun that is crucial to stop, such as Jewel's Rocket Leap, Celeste's Core Collapse, or Adagio's Reverse of Judgment. Additionally, always carry Scout Traps and Flares on you whenever possible. There will be more on the usage of Scout Traps later on in this guide. After you complete your core build, there are a lot of options available to support. However, they all depend on the given situation along with the enemy team comp, so choose wisely. Atlas Pauldron is great if the main damage dealer on the team relies on attacking quickly, such as Ringo, Vox, or Cruel. Clockwork is good if one of your core abilities needs to be up soon in a team fight, like Catherine's Merciless Pursuit. Also generally helpful if you have some energy issues. Warhorn is a great item if you need a way to chase down enemy heroes or get to an enemy carry quicker, although the item tends to not do so well if your team is behind in the game. Pick up a Shiver Steel if your range carry is having difficulty kiting certain threats. It's also beneficial when helping your team chase more slippery heroes. Contraption is a good pick if you need some cooldown acceleration, health, and it saves you a slot for Scout Traps and Flares, which is always useful throughout the game. If it is reaching late game and your team won't benefit much from the items mentioned before, damage can sometimes be an option. In those cases, picking up one of these items can be very beneficial. Pick up a Bone Saw if the primary damaging the team is weapon, that way you can help shred the armor of enemy heroes for them. Breaking Point is a fantastic item if you are usually the one last standing in a team fight. That way it will turn certain supports into major threats if the team fight lasts long enough. Aftershock is a good choice if you want something that deals crystal damage. An added bonus is that it scales off of the enemy health, so it will always remain relevant. It also provides cooldown acceleration, which will help you use your skills more often. Lastly, there are 2 items I should absolutely not buy: an Aegis and a Metal Jacket. In 99% of all cases, these items are terrible purchases to make on a support. Do not buy them. These are what I like to call selfish items because they're only designed to keep the holder alive. They do not add anything to the team, and it does not protect your allies in any way, shape, or form. If you need durability, pick up one of the items listed above. Many of them offer HP, armor, or shield in addition to a useful effect. Iron Guard Contract is an absolute must-buy if you are playing support. It allows for the most efficient gold sharing and gives your team more gold overall. There are a lot of small details to this item, so it's important that all players understand how this item works. First and foremost, the primary gold sharing mechanic. This item gives the holder 50% of the gold dropped from nearby jungle monsters that your allies last hit. This is key because there will be no bonus gold received if the Iron Guard holder gets the last hit. Additionally, if the monster has attacked you, your ally that gets the last hit will also receive an additional 25% gold, and you'll heal a small amount of health too. Note that you only need to be hit once from the monster for this effect to occur. So if your jungler hits the camp first, what they could do is walk away from it until it changes targets and attacks you instead. Alternatively, you could also attack the minion first and then walk away so that the monsters hit your jungler instead, and it will still grant the 25% gold. Scout Traps are a key tool in the support player's arsenal. They are a fantastic item and can be used offensively to deal a great amount of damage. However, here we'll be talking more about their uses in maintaining vision around the map. Knowing where precisely to place scout traps to get the most out of them can be the difference between an average support and a great support. So I'll be highlighting popular places to put them as well as the reasoning behind it. These scout traps shown here are some of the most important to have for defending against ganks. They keep vision on the main pathway to lane as well as your jungle. To illustrate why these are so important, take a look at these white lines. They represent the most commonly taken paths by enemy heroes. Now look at the red circles. They represent the vision granted by those scout traps. You can see here that they are set up in such a way that it will maintain vision on enemy heroes while also being placed in areas least likely to be stepped on. These scout traps maintain vision of your jungle shop bush, as well as a small monster camp near the shop. This is an area where players are frequently ganked, especially while they are buying their items. It is important to maintain vision in this general area. Now, if the enemy is going further into your jungle, you can see how these scout traps are useful for keeping track of them. Now note that the one on top of the jungle camp doesn't work as well against enemy Takas because he will often use chitin and land on this location. But on the other hand, it could also detonate and steal the minion or damage Taka, which is still useful. These scout traps are only necessary if you find that the enemy jungler is venturing far back onto your side. Protecting the large minion camps are very important because they provide the greatest amount of gold and experience, so losing them is potentially disastrous. These scout traps are used to keep vision on Gold Miner and Kraken. Now note that the scout trap inside the pit should be placed in the corner closest to your side of the map. This way, if the enemy tries to clear it, they have to venture further into potentially dangerous territory. Now, there is an alternative place to put the scout trap, and that is one directly underneath where the gold miner would be. Often, players will not walk directly over the gold miner's model, so sometimes this scout trap can last quite a bit longer. Additionally, if they do trigger it, it will aggro the gold miner and potentially give some free damage. The next series of scout traps are for offensive purposes and used to monitor movement of the enemy inside their own jungle. These are a bit more difficult to set up, but provide very useful information throughout the game. The ones shown here to keep track of enemy movements towards the jungle shop and can allow you to ambush them while they are shopping for items. These next scout traps control the main pathway out of the enemy jungle. Controlling this tri-bush forces enemies to invest in flares unless they want to risk face checking the bush. Also notice which corner of the bush it was placed in. This is again to maintain vision of the bush while keeping out of the common pathways that players will often take. Lastly, there's also a scout trap placed near the lane bush. This one is important for protecting your laner as it will signal if there's an enemy gank on the way. Lastly, these scout traps are the most difficult to set up because it involves venturing deep into the enemy jungle, but are very worthwhile if you can get them to stay. It gives you vision of their back jungle camps, making it easier to know when you can try to steal them. However, most importantly, it will give you vision as the enemy heroes leave the base, allowing you to make better decisions on what to do and when. Knowing about these locations isn't just useful for understanding where to place scout traps, it's also good for finding them as well. By understanding all the important places to trap up, you can better search for enemy scout traps and trigger them so you can deny them vision. With that, you should be equipped with all of the knowledge you need to rock the support role. You now know item builds, ironguard contract, and where to place scout traps. So now go out there, save some allies, and be the hero that your team needs. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you like this guide, make sure to like and subscribe to see more content in the future. Also, stick around to see my support hero montage. I'll see you guys next time.
Hero. I wanna be a hero. Oh, the hero comes, I can hear the drums and a horse is drawn to the kingdom come through the pale moonlight. Hearts ignite to the call. Oh, claim your prize for a crown of stars in the name of love. Be the sacrifice, you and I will stand and fight our backs to the wall.